Hello, this is Leisha Bream with Journey to Greatness, 365 Days to Your Best Year Yet, and the author of the little book, Extraordinary People Living Ordinary Lives Break Free. Break free from the herd and reclaim your greatness, because you are great. Today, I want to talk about the importance of discipline. And most people will say, yeah, just like loving yourself, whatever. These are core principles to success. If you don't own these principles, you will not be able to hold on to success for any period of time. We've started this podcast by saying that to truly have success, to reach and build that journey to greatness, you have to love yourself first. You have to do the things you need to do right by you. A lot of people sabotage. That doesn't mean they're victims. It means they are the victims of their own destruction. And as within any case, this destruction, this self-sabotage is going to vary from person to person. Some people are going to be more disciplined than others. When they give themselves a command, they're able to follow through. And that's really the key. That if we love ourselves, when we give ourselves a command, when we make a New Year's resolution, when we decide to stop smoking, when we decide to quit eating junk food, when we decide to change our lifestyle, when we decide to create a higher standard of living, we've made a commitment. We've given ourselves a command. And we have to be able to follow through with that decision. A lot of people do not. Several years ago, there was an experiment. I believe it was in the 1950s. And it was about small children and setting them in front of a marshmallow. It was called the marshmallow experiment. And the children were asked by the researchers to sit in the room, stare at the marshmallow, and then they were told that if they could not eat that marshmallow while the researcher was gone out of the room, that they would get another marshmallow as a reward. Well, some of the children were able to wait until the researcher came back, and then they would get the reward of the second marshmallow. But there was a number of children that couldn't control themselves. They ate the marshmallow, enjoyed it, and they never got the second marshmallow. The moral of the story is that if you're not able to stave off that impulse to enjoy in the moment, to indulge in the moment, when you know that there's something bigger and better in the future, by holding off on that instantaneous pleasure, there'll be a problem with you reaching your goals. You'll be stuck. The issue is that a lot of us don't have enough discipline to be able to reach our goals. We haven't developed that muscle. We haven't developed the self-discipline muscle. We go for the instant gratification. That instant gratification piece is pushed on us as well from our society. We want instant food. We want instant pleasure. We want instant solutions to our problems. A pill that's going to make everything better. And in some cases, we're able to take a pill and it makes us feel better, instead of doing the work internally. Success comes from the inside out. It's not an outside in type of situation or process. We have to be able to give ourselves a command and then have that discipline to follow through. We have to say no to those glittery objects that stand before us, whether it be a cigarette or a handsome person that might not be good for us, or a piece of cake when we're trying to lose weight. We have to be able to do the tough work now so that we know we have something even better waiting for us in the future, because of our reputation, because of our skills, because of who we are becoming. So finding the easy way in the moment to skirt around a tough task isn't the way to get ahead in life if you're finding the easy ways out, regardless of how it is. If it's escaping bad feelings or feelings of unease through eating, like I used to do. If it's escaping anxiousness by smoking cigarettes or staying stoned on pot all day, like one of my ex-husbands used to do, because he couldn't handle stress, so he'd be stoned all the time. You wouldn't have known it, but he was. The thing is, we all long for escape from things that make us feel ill at ease. But here's where it ties back into that whole marshmallow story. That if we're using any sort of vice or anything, sex, food, drugs, television, too much texting, the list goes on and on, as a way of escape, we are deteriorating our discipline muscle. And trust me, discipline is a muscle. If we didn't discipline ourselves as children, if our parents didn't discipline us, or if they weren't able to discipline us, then we've grown into adults that lack discipline. And if we're using any form of escape to not get through the tough tasks in life, whether we've made a commitment to follow through on something or create a new life or trying to change a bad habit, if we aren't able to say no, I'm going to wait for the reward at the end, then we have made ourselves weak. And it's when we've made ourselves weak that it's difficult to build up that inner core of discipline. People that are successful, they are disciplined. They are very disciplined. They're basically pretty anal. Their lives are structured. Their plans are structured. And they've always got their eye on whether they're getting results from their actions or not. They are on purpose. Very much on purpose. The older you are, the quicker you need to become on purpose and somewhat anal. You can start right in your home. You can become anal in your home. I hate that word anal, and I'm sorry, but precise. You can start looking for precision. That's not perfection. There's a fine line between the two. But there's a vision of constant improvement, wanting to constantly get better, wanting to constantly push yourself, and then finding joy in that journey of progression. So we have to adopt a mindset of growth and development, of appreciating, just like we commit to love ourselves. And it may not look that way right now. We may not even believe it, but we're committed to it. We're going to commit to discipline, to following through, to a growth mindset, to growing and developing, knowing that there's work involved and frustration, but there's a wonderful feeling of fulfillment once we have accomplished that hard task. That feeling of appreciation is going to bring us a reward in our brain, dopamine, from success, the success of the accomplishment of the task. So we want to set ourselves up for success, and success does begin by loving ourselves, but then by having the discipline to follow through, to give ourselves a tough task and follow through, and then find enjoyment from following through. Find the enjoyment in not being a couch potato. Find the enjoyment in creating something and seeing it come to life from the ethers, but literally through our hard work. Look, we are what we repeatedly do. If we do something over and over again, good, bad, or in between, our brain cells involved in that behavior begin to sprout tiny fibers. They're called dendrites. And with enough repetition of the behavior, those dendrites, they grow and intertwine with other brain cells. Once they're all linked up in your brain, this has formed a physical circuit called a neural pathway, which quickly and efficiently enables any behavior. A new behavior is wired into your brain, and it becomes a habit. So if you want a successful life, you can't dabble at life. Don't be a dabbler. You've got to go all in. And you have to have the discipline to give yourself a command and follow through. We'll talk about some ways to start breaking the habit of wanting instant gratification. Today, one of the ways is to turn off your television for the week, for now. Because advertisements, they will inspire you to take the wrong actions in the moment. They will enhance that need for instant gratification. It's just a first step. And today as well, do something that you don't want to do. And think about the reward if you do it. Anticipate that reward and push yourself. This is a muscle. It's called the self-discipline muscle. A lot of people will sit on the sidelines. They'll listen to a podcast like this and they'll say, well, I'm doing it. I'm taking action. Being a listener of any kind of information and obtaining knowledge is not the way to success. It's a way to gain knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean anything until you apply it and consistently apply it. And that's where a lot of us fall short. So don't let that be you. Now, as in every day, let's get into our mini mindfulness meditation because we want to quiet the mind. We want to change our mindset. We want to become aware of who we are and how we have been and what we have become. And mindfulness meditation allows us to peer into our own minds without judgment, but as the observer. So let's get going. Now, as always, I want you to sit down and relax. Sit up in a dignified manner with a sense of pride. And I want you to close your eyes. And today's mini mindfulness meditation is breathing in positivity. So sit up straight and take a deep breath in through your nose while closing your eyes. A deep breath in 3 times and release 3 times. So our first breath in and release. And deep breath in and release. And deep breath in and release. Continue to breathe deeply, taking time to focus on your breathing and how it feels. Now think of your favorite color or a color that you really like when you breathe in. Focus on breathing in that color. Let this symbolize bringing positive things into your day and into your life. When you exhale, imagine that you are breathing out a color that you don't like. Let that symbolize breathing out the negative things in your day and in your life.